xGame, and I think it really all boiled down to that last team fight where we really saw xGame just lost, running around like chickens with their heads cut off there. And unfortunately, they get the tiny IO that they wanted and that they were comfortable with, as you mentioned, but BBC just looking a little more sharp in that late game. And Padrino's Brood, once again, unfortunately for us, is going to be banned out here first phase, and wisely so, by xGame. And BBC not willing to deal with that IO again, despite beating it up in game one, are going to remove it from the pool. And BBC looking to find a rematch of the winners bracket finals here in the grand finals. They win this game, guys. They go on at 18 CET to face basically unknown for all the marbles.
Well, BBC, they have Massacre's hero banned out in the Timbersaw, Padrino's hero banned out in the Broodmother, and, well, I mean, you look at the bans. You have IO also being respect banned towards xGame. Juggernaut just being that huge flavor of the month hero is going to pave the way for these two heroes, Axe Troll Warlord. I don't think anyone is really too surprised about this. The mag is a little bit more surprising for xGame, but it's still not something that's too weird.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, you always have that Magnus to kind of buff up your late game carry. Has been a little bit more common with the Juggernaut especially, but still nice to have with the Troll, and it will be able to clump people up from BBC. However, having the Axe there, he's not the most ideal target into an RP. If you converge onto him and he gets that black hole, in essence, off with the Berserker's Call, it's going to be a little worrisome for xGame. Either way, still a nice opening to their draft and very well-rounded at this point.
Yeah, extra damage with Troll Warlord. Empower not really going to be as impressive since he is going to be often switching between the ranged and melee form, but man, if you get it done, then you'll get it done, and then the mag is going to just get some guaranteed value to his team in that way. But BBC, mostly in response to the mag, also picking up a hero that two other players are very comfortable with in both Miracle mid rubric and YapzOr support rubric, is first of all a really good hero to have versus Magnus, a really good hero to have with your Axe. It's maybe a little bit early to pick up this hero, but it works so well with their Axe already and up against what they're going up against.
Yeah, and I feel like the Magnus is that you expend a bit of an early pick from xGame's side on that, so it's fine for BBC to pick this up. I'm pretty sure YapzOr is like a Grand Magus in real life or something, so he should be kind of masterful on this one. Nothing much to steal from the Troll Warlord, but the Magnus got quite a bit of useful spells for him, and will be interesting to see how he's able to play up on this, or if they put in a core roll, as you mentioned. But Dazzle going to be picked up here by xGame. Really questionable into the Axe. Shallowgrave doesn't save you from Culling Blades, so not sure exactly why they picked that up, but the plus armor is nice from Weave and will help them to take down Roshan quickly, especially with that battle trance, so perhaps that's what they're looking to do with that pickup.
You see the exact same bans from BBC and the Zeus and Lion, going to be taking those two out, and then xGame going to pay BBC even more respect with Miracle's Wind Ranger from last game and Padrino's Spectre of last game. So BBC, I would say, definitely now a little bit more out of their comfort zone, but as we said, YapzOr, Rubik, Levi now in the Disruptor, they were the playmakers of last game. This is a dual support combo that BBC end up with quite a bit, and it is kind of on the weaker end. Their ability to get kills is going to be highly dependent on what other hero they're going to be joined with. And with an Axe they can get kills, but maybe with a lighter damage hero they will just struggle a little bit, especially up against a Dazzle. They have a lot of control, but not that much damage here.
Yeah, I feel like Levi doesn't even play any other hero, but their defensive try is nice. Like, as you mentioned, they have good, they don't have the best roam potential, they don't have the best kill potential, but with a Berserker's Call, they should have some kill potential. Telekinesis and Glimpse can both set that up, even the Kinetic Field to a certain extent. So they will have a lot of time to at least right-click these heroes down with the Call and the Kinetic Field to overlap on top of that. So expect the try to be centered around the Axe at this point, perhaps. They could look for another late-game insurance policy for Padrino, but I would like to see the Slark come out here for Padrino. I feel like it's really nice up against what xGame have thus far. The Dark Pack's good for things like Poison Touch. They don't have any really hard disable available to the Slark, and I feel like he'll have a lot of free roam in this one, and it is something Padrino's super comfortable on, and they won't have to bank so much on their late game once again. Perhaps with the one game advantage, they can look to take this game a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I would say just at the very least grab Slark because Bridon loves the hero, and it would also be a reasonable pick for xGame as their 4th or maybe 5th. I'm pretty sure xGame are going to wait on their support hero right now since they see BBC already with their 2 supports. There's no pressing need to grab what they want right now. Slark would be pretty sick with the Magnus and the Troll Warlord both, and I'm pretty sure xGame are thinking about going for that hero right about now and giving that to Mantis, throwing him in a safe lane, and then just being happy with that. it'll be hard for BC to deal with. They have the Axe, they have Static Storm, two tools that are very, very good versus that Slark, but BBC, they really want to get their hands on the Slark, or at least I'm pretty sure Slark is going to be involved in this draft one way or another. Whether it's picked or banned, he's a very high priority for both sides at this point.
Yeah, definitely a coveted hero, and surprised that he did slip through, especially with BBC here. I mean, we saw the respect bans coming out from xGame. They pretty much banned the whole lineup of the side of BBC last game, aside from that Broodmother, which is pretty much always banned out versus Bridon, unfortunately, because it is really fun to watch. But xGame going to pick up the TA here, and I feel like this makes Slark even more powerful for BBC. Dark Pact does a lot of tick damage, so I don't know if that's a little bit of a misstep from xGame, but we'll see if BBC is willing to pick that up for Bridon.
Well, Templar Assassin is a hero that can cut through Axe, even though he may use a Berserker's Call because of her sick amount of physical damage plus her minus armor. Together with Troll Warlord, xGame, they're very much so in this physical damage type plan. And BBC, they can protect themselves with that just by grabbing the likes of Ring of Basilius, of Vlad's moving down the line, an Assault Cuirass very down the line. But, you know, these types of items will help them a lot up against what xGame have. And well, the Magnus not going to get huge amounts of Empower value this game. Generally, you want to give Empower to people who will get the cleave or just have some sort of AoE hit in general, and can't really count Psyblades in that. But xGame, they still are working with quite a bit of damage. Their lanes, though, are pretty counterable. It's pretty simple to see what xGame are planning here. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a Mantis Troll and mid lane TA, off lane Mag, and then random supports going wherever.
Yeah, definitely so. And Magnus with a little bit underwhelming amount of farm, I do worry for xGame's ability to get him active. I mean, you really only need that RP to start working, but with the Static Storm available to drop preemptively on that skewer location, as well as the Glimpse to glimpse him back, and even the jump in Berserker's Call to cover an RP, I think BBC have a lot of ways to deal with a Magnus, especially one that's not suitably ahead of the curve in terms of farm. So we'll see if BBC pick up the Slark here. They have eaten quite a ways into their reserve time and are thinking about it. I feel like this is kind of an obvious pick, but they'll pick up the Ember, so they do have a lot of tick damage here as well for those refraction charges and a lot of mid-game potency for BBC.
Slark is going to be banned out, and I mean, you see Templar Assassin, Mag, and Troll on the other end. If you're BBC, you know that xGame are not going to be picking this Slark, so you don't actually have to pick it to ban it out there. So they pretty much forced the hand of xGame with this Ember Spirit pick, and it's a very metagamey thing to do with this draft, but it is going to work out in their favor because they do get that forced ban out. I'm pretty sure they're okay with that as well. Ember Spirit, the hero, is the actually Miracle's first game that I saw him play was with that Ember Spirit, and he just rocked everyone's face off. It was amazing to watch. So definitely a capable Ember Spirit player in that regard. And as you said, Ember Spirit does typically do pretty well versus Templar Assassin, and his ability to not only burst her down, but also use the slew of dots that he has to kill off her refraction charges.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, the one thing I do want to mention, however, is I've seen it happen time and time again, and on paper, you don't see it, but the Shadow Wave damage is extremely powerful versus Ember early on. He has this kind of illusion that he's tanky with the Flame Guard, but up against physical damage nukes and the physical damage coming from the TA and the Troll Warlord, I worry for this Ember Spirit early on, but if Miracle positions himself well, he should be just fine. More physical damage coming out from xGame, however, with the Axes coming the way of the Beastmaster, as well as that Boar going to be there for a little bit of extra slow. So interesting pickup from xGame here. It's going to be a 4-position Beastmaster, so we'll see if they get some momentum off of that, and definitely going with a bit of a pocket strat here to try and bring down BBC in this game too.
Yeah, this is a lot of synergy coming out from the xGame side in that they're going to pretty much put all their picks into amplifying the right clicks of their heroes in some way, shape, or form, through attack speed, through empowers, through minus armor, and I'm pretty sure you just can't do it any more than that unless you somehow grab an Ogre Magi and all of that with the Bloodlust. But in Templar Assassin, Troll Warlord, those are the two heroes that you really do want to have hitting very hard whenever you can. And this is a very synergistic lineup here for xGame. The problem is that their lanes are going to suffer. Offlane, or 4-position Beastmaster, typically pretty weak, and the kill potential of Dazzle is very, very low. So BBC have a little bit more of an edge in the laning as far as this is concerned, but late game, because of the synergy, xGame are going to be doing quite a bit of work, even though they may be up against both the Medusa and Ember Spirit.
Yeah, look for Axe to do a lot of work early for BBC up against what is not a good laning phase for xGame here, presumably, as you mentioned. And maybe xGame thinking they can go a little bit greedy because of that Disruptor Rubik combo not being too scary into their face, but they still should be able to find quite a bit. And looks like we are going to have a rehost here, unfortunately. But yeah, once again, I think it's like a little bit of a case of slightly favored draft towards xGame, but BBC is still looking very comfortable.
Man, I really hate it whenever we do this, mostly because I can't just like look at the heroes while we're talking about them, and that actually helps a lot, like just being able to constantly stare at the heroes. But now we're awkwardly stuck in this wait screen, or I'm just gonna stop
this server works a little bit better for us.
Alright, so yeah, hopefully that's just going to be it, and well, now we actually have some more heroes to look at. And well, xGame, the offlane, or no, why do I keep saying offlane Beastmaster? The 4-position Beastmaster that we're expecting to come out from xGame, it typically doesn't do that much. BBC, though, with their heroes, they can't really punish this. Like, the weakness of 4-position Beastmaster is that he is very passive in the jungle, but what can Rubik Disruptor do about that?
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, they can't do much. Like, the Hawk is going to be nice for xGame. I'm going to expect 3 Blink Daggers to come out for the 3 cores of xGame in the TA Troll and the Magnus at some point, because they will have that Hawk. And with the Axe, he's going to want to create space for BBC, but I feel like xGame needs to control the tempo in this one. They weren't able to do it in Game 1 with their relocate ganks, at least not enough. And they're going to have to finish this one off fairly quickly. But there are some elusive heroes in the Ember, and with the Glimpse from BBC, they should be able to stave off some of the aggression from xGame. We will have a TC as soon as we load in, unfortunately, and hopefully the Magnus is able to reconnect here for xGame.
Yeah, that's always a good sign when you disconnect before the game actually loads in. Yeah, going to be an interesting game for sure with xGame's draft, and this is not something that you would ordinarily do when you are on the brink of elimination. If this was game 1, I would say, yeah, I mean, go for this type of strategy if you actually feel like this can work. But this is crunch time for xGame. This is what they think is the strongest possible way for them to win this game, and honestly, it seems like a strategy that can work, but it just seems a lot of things have to go right for the strategy to work for xGame.
Yeah, and they pick up the Beastmaster Blade, supplements their physical damage a little more, like you said, with the Wild Axes, as well as with the extra attack speed from the Inner Beast. So they can perhaps bring down Miracle's Ember Spear pretty quickly underneath a Roar, but I feel like they really lack Disable here, and that's gonna allow Miracle to have free roam most of the time unless they commit these big cooldowns like the Roar, like the RP on him, and in that case there can be some counter initiation from the Axe coming out from BBC. So I really feel like if xGame makes this draft work, it's gonna be a really nice show of execution coming from them.
It's the lack of Disable is kind of made up for by the fact that they have so much burst damage. So it's like, well, why prevent them from running away when you could just kill them? That's like not always going to be the best way to go. But the real only crowd control that they have that's reliable is the Roar, which is going to be up fairly often. That's just how Beastmaster works. And then the Magnus RP, which you don't really want to be investing on small scale skirmishes. You don't really want to use that to cancel a TP or something like that. So in that sense, xGame are going to find themselves in situations where they're going to be crossing their fingers, hoping for a bash from the Troll Warlord. But BBC, they have all the control in the game, and this control is going to be used to give Medusa quite a nice shell. But hell, Medusa's Stone Gaze is going to be just so hard for xGame to deal with in this particular game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. They need a lot of heroes in the front line. Really, Vlad's Dazzle is going to be the only thing that's not positioned within the vulnerability of that Stone Gaze. And I feel like BBC going to have a very good time here. They are also pretty tanky. But yeah, as you mentioned, they're going to need to use this Roar to burst the target under that Disable. And they should be able to do so more often than not. It's just a question of whether or not that target is an influential or significant one enough to turn the tides of the fight.
And then, of course, when your strategy is revolving around that, then it comes down to how well do your lanes go, how fast can you get up that Roar so that you could actually start killing off heroes. Because if your Beastmaster gets killed off 1 or 2 times, if his Roar is really delayed, then you can still do it maybe later on once you get that Roar, but you would ideally like to get kills sooner rather than later. I know, right? But yeah, if the lanes go poorly for xGame, then their whole game plan of being able to burst down people with physical damage might just not be working.
Yeah, it is certainly a greedy draft, and having the Beastmaster in the 4 position and yet relying so heavily on that reliable lockdown of the Primal Roar is a little bit of a double-edged sword for X Game. But either way, hopefully they're able to find this early blink on at least a Stallcats Magnus, which will be in the off lane. So, I mean, look for BBC to probably run a defensive try and contest his farm. They should be doing just fine in other lanes. They could run a dual lane with this Axe, but I mean, up against the very limited lockdown and mass physical damage of X Games defensive try, they should be just fine to run the Axe solo.
Yeah, I don't really know if Magnus has any good lanes up against him. It's either Medusa, Disruptor, and Rubik, in which the kill potential isn't huge, but the zoning potential definitely is with their range, with their gradual right-click damage, or you're up against an Axe. They're probably not going to send Stallcat to the mid lane. That's typically just not where he goes, but if he does, then it's up against Ember Sphere, probably his best matchup, but also it's not really a great matchup for him. So I expect Stallcat to be heavily delayed in his Blink Dagger, and that's usually going to be the case whenever you're a mag in the off lane. But Stallcat, just as a Magnus player, is one that, even though he may not be doing anything for the first couple of minutes, he'll deliver with those RPs. That's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah, he is pretty on point for the most part when I've seen him. Bridon always really runs this safe lane Medusa, despite having his supports with him or not, and he never really runs it out of the mid for BBC. So look for that at least to be a 1v1 matchup. That may be very nice for X Game to pick up some farm on Stallcat. Currently, there is an aggressive try centered around the Axe. That's something I alluded to in the draft, and I feel like it's pretty strong against what they have early on from the side of X Game. They which is nice since there's no culling blade, but still, they're going to be able to posture up and creep cut pretty reliably in the bot lane if they do leave the supports with this Axe.
Medusa really wants this bounty rune, but X Game really want Medusa to go for this bounty rune. Levi's here as well, and hopefully before anything gets going, we could go over who's playing what. Stallcat, who said, is playing that Mag Vlad on support Dazzle. Reeve's going to be on the 4 position Beastmaster. We got Bignum on the Templar Assassin. That leaves Mantis on the Troll Warlord for X Game.
Yep, BBC picking up the Bridon Medusa in the safe lane. He's going to be accompanied currently by Levi. Refraction goes out onto Bignum. The Thunderclap is going to tick that down. Skewer is going to push Bridon forward. Poison Touch will be there. He should be just fine under this Mana Shield, though, to get away. Borslow is slowing him down. He's being body blocked up by Stallcat. Skewer still down for another 18 seconds. Bridon going to be fine, but it is going to stifle his early farm. He's going to have to rotate back to base. Doesn't quite have enough for a TP either, and that's going to be still a small win going the way of X Game. But to round out the lineup for BBC, Yapzor is going to pick up the Rubik along with his comrade Levi on his Disruptor. Massacre picking up the Axe in the offlane, and finally in the mid lane we will have Miracle picking up that Ember Spirit 1v1 against the TA.
Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass for Bridon to actually have to go all the way back to the base, then go all the way back out to lane, and all the while the top lane mag is going to be free farming it up, so it's going to be an inconvenience for Bridon, but you know what? You get jumped by that many heroes, and you walk out of there alive as a Medusa, and you have to be happy about that. That's pretty much the lack of crowd control from X Game showing itself right there. They had one slow, or I guess 1.5 slows through the Boar and through the Skewer. It's just not good enough, and if you find a Medusa like that, you should be able to get the kill like 90% of the time with any given team, but just not this crowd control light team of X Game.
Yeah, mid lane, Reeves is body blocking up Miracle. He's going to get Searing Chains, though. This could be your first blood going the way of the Ember Spirit, and it is. And yeah, I mean, Beastmaster says it bit off more than he could chew there with that level 1 Hawk. They are going to engage bottom lane in the counter helix. One more right click, Vlad going to go down. Berserker's Call is still down here, so Mantis should be just fine, but a quick 2-0 for BBC.
Man, I was watching bot. I was sure that something was going to happen before your thing got done, but I was unfortunately a little bit wrong. Missed first blood, but they still end up getting a kill, BBC. 2 kills, rather. Top lane, Bridon is going to get skewered back, but his Mana Shield is holding strong, now currently completely out of mana. And these 2 melee heroes doing a decent job up against this Medusa, but they're still not able to actually kill her off despite being able to commit that much. But it's still BBC getting a kill, first of all, on Miracle, and you never really want to get an Ember Spirit any sort of substantial start, because then you can just do stuff like this. Just run towards Bignum with those Searing Chains. The right click's going to commence, and Bignum has no meld here. He has a bottle delivered, but it's way too late. He's already dead. In the meantime, it is going to be the death of the Disruptor up on the top lane, so X can get on the board, but this Ember Spirit is not going to be easy for them to deal with.
Yeah, that is a huge start for Miracle's Ember Spirit, and I felt like early game is the biggest window where X Game had to punish him, and they haven't been able to do so. And here it's looking very good now for BBC, especially if they keep down this TA of Bignum here on the side of X Game, who is definitely one of the better players for xGame. Not to take anything away from them, but he's your top tier stand-in for tier 2 teams at least.
Yeah, and up against an Ember Spirit now at this point, there's just less and less that Bignum can actually do. Once Ember hits that level 6 mark, then TA is just going to be at the Ember's mercy. Down towards bottom lane, Massacre in a little bit of trouble. A couple more right clicks there. Will not get the kill with that magic stick. Now going to drink that self. It's going to be YapzOr to continue the fight for some reason. Gonna get hit with the poison touch. That might end up being his death, but Massacre gonna go right into the creep wave. No call available though. Still with the counter helix hit onto Vlad. There's one. Looking for a couple more. YapzOr thinking about coming in with a fade bolt, but we'll just die to one right click. I have no idea what the plan was there, but it wasn't a good one. Massacre is still chasing for Vlad. Now drawing the creep aggro, but of course we have a pause. I'm pretty sure the Dazzle is dead here, but also Massacre, or YapzOr rather. Come on, man. What was that?
His Fade Bolt was still on cooldown, and thought he could have used that. Needed to stay out of attack range there. But yeah, he's a little bit late. One Helix there, one more right click, you're right. Massacre going to find the kill onto Dazzle, but still a nice solo kill going the way of the Dazzle there.
And it's a solo kill going the way of Axe as well. Now Tranquils are up on him, so he's going to have to worry a little bit less about this lane. Over towards mid, Bignum is going to be on the receiving end of Ember Spirit one more time. He can't do anything about that. He's not a high enough level to fight back, and he can't run away fast enough. Ember Spirit committing pretty much nothing but mana to zone out Bignum completely and drain his entire bottle. So mid lane's going very well for BBC. Bottom lane, I'm going to be okay calling that a wash. Top lane is the more rough lane, as Bridon's Medusa is not really having a good time, doesn't really have that much mana all that often here, but he's still getting quite a bit of experience, and his farm is going to be more or less guaranteed now with a little bit of help from Levi. It's over towards the river area where Miracle's going to snag the regen rune, now going to chain Bignum down to the floor. He has nowhere to run. He's taking so much damage from this Ember Spirit. The shield will go up, but it will quickly fall down. And now Miracle's going to claim yet another kill. Mantis and Stallcat are all here. Miracle, though, very tangled. Will get scared to the low ground. No, Stallcat is going to feed the Ember Spirit over towards Vlad with another jump forward. That's going to be a double kill for Miracle. Now looking towards Mantis. He's out of mana, but that skewer was probably as bad as they come.
That skewer right there is all I can really say. Miracle now 4-0-0 on this Ember Spirit, and he's feeling really beefy at this point. He's already got the full bottle and his bracer being ferried over. We'll have an early set of drums available to him.
And he's going to have those upgraded boots soon as well. And man, you never want to give Miracle this type of start. Like on any hero, on an Ember Spirit, it's like it goes double just because of how nuts Ember Spirit can get out of control. He's just going to be able to kill off so many heroes so quickly. Up towards top, Reeves going to try to solo kill Bridon, and he will get some help from Stallcat. Maybe they'll get this kill on Bridon, but it's going to be at the cost of the Beast Smasher at the very least. Boar still sticking onto Bridon. Now Levi going to try to get in there with some body blocks. He will guarantee Bridon's safety. Going to try to TP out of there. It's going to be close. He will die to Stallcat's right clicks. Disruptor saving Bridon's life. Not really sure if that was worth it, but it does secure the safety of Medusa, so that's fine. Going for xGame, and at the very least they're getting something up towards the top lane because they desperately need a win somewhere.
He should have known Skewer was down there, though, and he had Kinetic Field available to him, so a little bit of an odd choice from Levi. But yeah, either way, saves Bridon for the time being, and things going well elsewhere. Massacre was cutting the creep wave deep bottom lane. They rotate back in Vlad, though, however, and he's thought better of it already, though. The tier 1 at 50% HP. Massacre does have YapzOr alongside him now, and will continue to creep cut this wave, so Mantis going to be a little bit hard-pressed to find his farm. 14 CS on the Troll Ward to the 33 of Massacre's Axe across from him.
Miracle's going to find a free one running into the Beastmaster in the river. Now he's going to have to deal with 2 heroes, though. Skewer is going to miss, and Miracle, because of that, has the phase boots, has enough movement speed to get himself out of there. Bignum has no trap available. Miracle is going to get yet another kill, 5-0-0 on this Ember Spirit. And honestly, he's not really working too hard to get these kills either. Kind of just falling into his lap. And when you get free kills like that as Ember Spirit, yeah, you take them. You take them every single time. Those phase boots doing some serious damage, hitting for about 100 a pop at this stage in the game is huge. Not to mention his dot damage through all his skills, and he's going to go for Bignum one more time. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. He doesn't have that much mana. Bignum's going to meld out, and looks like he will be surviving that one, but man, you shouldn't be on the defensive this early on as a Templar Assassin. It's just going to set a bad precedent for the rest of the game. Yeah,
like he's been killing so many heroes, he hasn't even been able to farm. The TA has 4 more creep hits than our last hits than him, and yet you look at the net worth, and he is 1,400 net worth ahead of Bignum's TA at this point.
And that's just the power of getting those kills. And Ember Spirit is now level 7. He will have enough spirits to flexibly bounce back and forth from the fountain, refill his bottle, rinse, repeat, and then just go for more kills all the while. And the rest of the heroes for BBC, Bridon is getting okay amounts of farm, but really not feeling too secure just with the one support hero, the Disruptor here. And Disruptor is not really the best hero at poking in these stages, but Massacre is having a very good time on that axe, and that's pretty much a given in his lane situation right now. xGame, they're not actually doing too terribly despite giving so many kills away to the Ember Spirit because of how well their lanes are going inherently, but they have to watch out towards top because Reeves is actually going to put himself in a corner. There is a glimpse here for Levi, although it's only level 1. They're instead going to wall off Stall Cat, but a skewer down to the low ground, going to bring Bridon with him. The damage from this Medusa, not quite enough, but he will snag Reeves with the snake. Man, I'm sure that was intentional. Bignum going to get yanked back all the way towards the mid lane, and Bridon is going to walk away from that situation with a kill.
Yeah, Skewer kind of puts him in range for that chain on the Mystic Snake, unfortunately for Reeves, and Bridon finding an easy one there, and it seems like that's been the story of this game too. Easy kills going everywhere the way of BBC. Stallcat gonna fill up his bottle with a bounty rune, will be able to stay in lane for a bit, and Regen gonna be picked up by Bignum on this bottom side, so that's a nice small win thus far, and looks like they are few and far between here for xGame at this point. And Massacre rotated into the jungle for now. He is going to get spotted out briefly by Vlad, but will posture up into the trees. Miracle coming down with him, and he's got 3 remnants available. He's going to remnant forward, should be able to find Vlad with a Searing Chains pretty soon with the phase boots, and he is able to do so into a call. Should be an easy kill. Just going to use that Culling Blade, and there's a nice one going the way of the tandem of Miracle and Massacre.
Pretty much once again as easy as it comes with phase boots. There's no way that Dazzle, who has only brown boots, is going to escape from that one, and then you have a tool to get through that shallow grave if it even came out. So BBC's Miracle is going to get now 5-0-1, going to get a little bit more momentum towards the Axe, who was looking to be in a pretty bad position until Miracle decided to make that rotation in. He is very, very close to his Blink Dagger, and a free 10-minute Blink Dagger on an Axe is pretty much just the doctor order for BBC. They're going to have another hero online together with that Ember Spirit. The initiation range in of itself is huge. The kill potential might be even larger. xGame, they're going to be on the defensive a lot earlier than they really planned because they're giving away so many kills.
Yeah, and it's not only a sub 10 minute Blink Dagger for Axe. It's one where he's been contesting the farm of RP used mid lane. However, they're finally going to pick off Miracle. No, he's able to Remnant out. He had a defensive Remnant at the ready. Good discipline from him. Poison Touch and the Boar right clicks probably not going to be enough to finish him off, especially under the tower. He'll even use Searing Chains there. But yeah, what I was going to mention is not only is a sub 10 minute Blink Dagger for Massacre, he's been contesting the farm of your one position Troll Warlord, and he's out farming him heavily. 48 last hits to the 36 of Massacre, as they are going to telekinesis up Reeves. He's going to drop really low. No mana for a call or a Culling Blade here. Stick up from Massacre, though. He will have enough for just a Culling Blade now. Reeves bottling up, though, should be just fine, and Massacre going to get skewered back. He'll get the call on 2, and he pulls the trigger a little bit quick. Unfortunately, Grave going to keep Reeves up from that last Helix, and finally a small win going xGame's way. 2-0 in that bot lane.
Going for these small scale engagements with the Axe with no creep support, really not going to work to your favor that often. Bignum chasing a little bit too far forward is going to get glimpsed right back into the hands of a Rubik. Slow TP coming in. Levi going to take a lot of damage, but Telekinesis will bail him out for now. There is no shallow grave, no mana for Vlad, and Bignum going to try to die for this kill before he dies, but he will go down before any of that happens. It's just going to be a death of the TA, and actually, wait, no, there's Miracle from the back end. Didn't even notice him sneaking in. Dazzle's going to be sniped by the Ember Spirit for the umpteenth time. 6-0-1 on the Ember. And it looked pretty bad for BBC, but they honestly just took an engagement they shouldn't have been taking, and they don't really get punished too much by it. No. Also, are we sure that Stallcat's actually playing for xGame? Because that was like the 3rd time where he got his ally killed, or almost got his ally killed with those skewers. He's usually like not very really playing on point with this mag.
Yeah, he's going to get battle hungered up here by Massacre as well briefly. Just going to keep Bridon kind of safe with that Stone Gaze banging away at this tower. Mid lane TPs do come in for Vlad, and Miracle is way too beefy. Right, Massacre looking for the Dazzle as well. He's going to find him, and he's telekinesed up. Fade Bolt available as well, going to be used here. And the call is once again a little bit early. It actually was stop casted by Massacre, but they don't bring down Vlad quite low enough. Skewer up is not going to land on anyone, and Massacre should be able to blink out here in just a second, and is able to do so to the north. Hawk still scouting him out, and the Roar is going to be there with the Wild Axes from Reeves. However, they will pick off Massacre, but a lot committed to find that axe.
Second time that Axe has taken these very small-scale call engagements, and that's pretty much exactly not what Axe wants to do. You want to be diving people in the middle of the creep wave, because call, at the end of the day, is just going to be a 2-second disable, which is pretty good, but you need someone other than a Rubik to actually do some damage there. You need counter helixes, and up against a Dazzle with pretty much no attack speed, you're not going to be getting many spins. You'll be very lucky if you get one spin up in those engagements. So Masquerade maybe just a little bit too over-eager with this fast blink dagger, is putting himself into pretty bad situations for kills that honestly should not be happening for BBC. And Miracle also, decided to not really dive deep for that one either. So Axe is not going to have the most influence in this game so far. It's not too late for him to just get something going, but if he keeps taking engagements like this Axe is going to be a non-factor. I
mean, he's effectively keeping xGame in the game at this point, but the tri-core for BBC is still out-farming the entire quad core of xGame at this point, and Mantis has recovered a little bit into the jungle, but still only treads Aquila 1,000 gold onto him, and once they bring another to this bot lane with Levi, they should be able to glimpse a hero into a static storm and find a kill. They have found that level 6 on their Disruptor, as well as the steal on Rubik. Currently has Refraction up, and not the greatest spell onto Rubik, but either way, should be able to start making some plays with that level 6.
It's actually a very good skill to have on Rubik if Axe keeps making these types of engagements. Like, you help him out with the little bit of refraction damage, and Rubik all of a sudden is doing some pretty good damage. But, in the grand scheme of things, you would rather not have refraction if you have your choice of anything else. So Rubik might get some value out of that moving forward, but for right now, BBC are going to play it a little bit slower. They're going to just get Medusa a little bit more farm. Miracle is going to be going for what I can only assume to be a Battle Fury, just because he has 601. He has a lot of CS, most net worth in the game. He might as well be going for that item. But either way, he has the phase boots, he has the drums. If anyone by themselves goes into this mid lane, they will simply just die. And Miracle is going to catch eyes into Bignum right now. Level 1 Sleight of Fist only, so it's not really too useful right now. And also Reeves is waiting in backup, plus the Dazzle is here. So Miracle is going to play this one pretty safe and not going to try to die for these kills.
Yeah, Primal Roar available, and they do know that because Massacre did die to it over by the secret shop. But so Miracle going to play a little bit safe here, as he should. He's going to hit his mid-game critical mass fairly soon. He's already got that drums up, as you mentioned, and he needs to wait for backup from his teammates in order to start making things happen. If he feeds over his life, top lane though, Call is going to go out onto Stallcat, dunk. And that's your first successful one of the game. Shockwave stolen by Rubik, and that's a very nice quick nuke to have at level 4. Meldstrike going to follow out Miracle in the mid lane, but he'll be just fine. And finally a kill is found by Massacre with that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, it took a little while. A 10-minute Blink Dagger turned out to be a 14-minute Blink Dagger for all intents and purposes, but you not only get the kill, but you also get a little bit more space and a kill assist for Bridon, who has had recently a very easy lane. No one's really been around this top lane, so Medusa, though off to a rocky start, is going to be recovering and then some with that help from the Axe. So Masquerade is going to be taking that one home, and at the same time Miracle keeps himself safe over in the mid lane. Got hit pretty hard by that Shadow Wave damage, and as you mentioned before, it is something that is a really deceptive nuke from the Dazzle. You don't really expect that to be coming out, but when it does, it sure as hell hurts. Top lane tower is going to die. Reeves slowed down a little bit, though there is no telekinesis in range there. Bignum is actually left alone right now, so if BBC want to go, they can get this kill very easily, and they will go. Glimpse is there, bring him right back into the static storm. Miracle right on top of Bignum with a triple remnant jump. Templar Assassin is going to get smashed, and TP is coming in. Stallcat really wants in, but that's not going to happen. Skewer, maybe just for value, I guess, might as well do it, but Ember Spirit going to take another kill home, now all the way up to 1800 Gs.
They smoked right under a ward here as well. This ward giving the information over to Miracle that the TA was alone in the mid lane, as you mentioned, and they're able to bring him down. Not sure if they actually saw this smoke, though. Miracle is postured up pretty forward. The Primal Roar is available here, as well as the RP, and they can easily kill him off. He's a big target at this point. They will commit the RP and the Roar available to bring down that Ember, and that is a very big kill. Take a look at the fight recap. It's 1,000 experience going the way of the tandem of the Magnus and Beastmaster.
Yeah, so it seems like they were just not paying quite enough attention, BBC, and Miracle is the hero that they want to keep alive for as long as they possibly can. So it's a really nice pickup there for xGame. Of course, it was involving their only 2 forms of substantial crowd control, and BBC also were not there to help out their Ember Spirit in any significant way, but a kill is a kill, and xGame are going to be very happy. They will probably be more than willing to spend their ultimates in that way for the next 5-10 minutes if it means getting a guaranteed kill on the Ember Spirit. They're pretty much in a situation where getting a kill on Ember Spirit is more important than getting a kill on 2 other BBC heroes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Pedrino has been left unchecked for the last little bit, but Ember Spirit is really what they need to worry about, at least at this point in the game. And they do have somewhat of a quasi-quad core, so they have certainly ways to deal with the late game here. But BBC definitely no slouch as well in the late game with that Ember Axe Medusa Tricore.
Bottom lane, they're going to dive deep, going for Reeves, gets caught with the chains, and now he's going to get called and pulled. That's just such an easy kill to take, and Beastmaster, I actually don't really know how they saw him, but yeah, they definitely knew that he was there, and he was very quickly brought down. Not much you could do as any hero in that situation. If any given hero was there for xGame instead of that Beastmaster, they also would have died. So either way, it's going to be a kill for BBC. Now looking to maybe pressure this tier 1 tower. It's pretty much already dead, so it's not really going to take too much commitment, but they're now actually going to back off. They're going to let this tower stand for a little while longer, it seems. Maybe trying to bait someone in to try to defend it.
Yeah, the glyph's still available here as well, and they are going to TP in Stallcat, and so perhaps this is exactly what BBC is looking for. RP is available in 4 seconds. The fresh Blink Dagger up on Stallcat, but he blinks forward without the RP. And yeah, easy Remnant out. Call gonna whiff as well from Massacre, so a little bit of a chaotic engagement here, but it looks like both teams gonna be able to back off just fine. Roar is gonna go out onto Levi. Stallcat jump forward, RP onto 2. Shockwave is there as well. Whirling Axes are gonna finish off Levi. Big call coming out from Massacre though. He's gonna get quite a few helixes off. He's dropping very low. Will get the call, takes one with him, and that'll be Stallcat's Magnus. Overall 2 for 1, going the way of xGame, and they've mounted a very successful defense in this bot lane. They're even lucky that without their Medusa, they do pick off 1 for BBC.
Dude, that was such a mess. Miracle now going to get junked. Mantis closing in fast. Miracle does have that Yasha available. They have the tower to fight under as well with BBC. Don't really have that much else working for them as the Rubik is out of mana. It's going to get hit with the Poison Touch. He's in a lot of trouble with the Whirling Axe's range as well. Yapzor getting a little bit too close. Will take a fall. That was after having previously stolen an RP from the mag. Did connect onto 2, but that was layered with an Axe Call, and that's about it. An Axe Call doesn't actually do anything when the enemies are stunned. So BBC end up losing quite a bit over the past couple of minutes. Yeah, their Medusa wasn't a part of that. Yes, she was getting free farm all the while. Maybe they're going to get a retaliation kill on Vlad. No Miracle going to decide against that. He doesn't have that many spirits available. So BBC getting a really messed up fight. Like a Blink Dagger into nothing for Magnus, being followed up by a Blink Dagger call nothing from Axe, into a long-range Roar with not much follow-up. I don't really know what happened over the past couple minutes, but
yeah.
xGame, I guess, taking a slight edge in all the chaos because of the numbers advantage.
Yeah, and yeah, Bridon a little bit too late to the fray, but I guess Stallcat and Massacre trading sweet nothings there. That was a little bit fucking odd, but either way, things looking good after that engagement for xGame. Now their Trolls actually caught up with Bridon and surpassed Miracle's Ember Spirit after all is said and done. Even the TA pretty much at parity with the Ember, and after a massive start from Miracle, all of a sudden, he kind of just feels like he's at par with these cores from xGame.
All it takes is one fight going up against heroes that are worth more than your own, and you're going to be getting a lot of gold back. And Miracle, I mean, he still is a dangerous hero, but given his start, I would expect him to be by far the most dominant hero in the game. Yeah, he can still go for those solo kills, but he's not having as much of a terrifying presence as I really would expect in this game. So yeah, maybe xGame, despite being down quite a bit, are still going to be putting up a substantial fighting chance, but you know, even though Miracle may not be as big of a problem, Pedrino is going to be growing as a problem. He has a Yasha, he has a Lincoln Sphere in production, mostly just to block that Roar and Poison Touch. Those are actually the only two things that it does block. Maybe it's going to be a casual Ring of Health for a Scotty, but either way, the Medusa's getting quite a bit of cash, and over towards mid, they're looking for Miracle. Massacre is going to blow all that with an Invis Rune. It's unfortunately for xGame going to mean that they can't get a kill here, and that's going to mean that they have to fall back. Wasted time for them.
Yeah, a little bit of aggressive vision being planted down by Levi as well in the Radiant jungle by the Dire side. So that'll be some nice information to them. Will allow Pedrino to farm pretty safely here in this bottom lane. He does have almost enough for that Lincoln Sphere. Is about a couple hundred gold away from that, and he will be able to complete that up fairly soon here. Does complete up the Aquila for good measure as well. So Pedrino looking good at this point and will start to become relevant, perhaps joining some team fights after he picks up that Lincoln's. As you mentioned, one of the only forms of reliable lockdown in the Roar is one of the only spells they do have to dispel that Lincoln spell block.
Well, bottom lane, BBC, they're going to make a slow and steady push onto this tier 2 tower. xGame seemingly not willing to defend that. Will try to go for a tier 1 of their own. It's very, very low, so that's pretty much a gimme, and xGame will take that one. Stallcat is here. Shockwave will reveal his presence, and this pushing power from BBC actually isn't that strong, as it's only really Bridon with his right clicks that are doing the damage here, but xGame seems like they don't defend this. They have 2 TPs coming in, I think. That might be 3. No, the colors make it weird, but it's only 2. Bignum is going to actually jump in with Stallcat. Bridon is going to pop that Stone Gaze first, though, so it will force everyone from xGame to back off. Where is Miracle right now? He needs to be joining the fight. Reeves going to get teleported in, but he's going to go right into a Static Storm plus a 2-man call. Vlad and Reeves going to take a very swift ball with 1 dunk on them, and now Mantis is going to get shut down as well. Nice RP from Stallcat in the back end. Mantis still alive, is going to go to town, killing off only 1, however. It's just a disruptor. Now Mantis is going to deal with another call, and Miracle still alive. That's going to be the tower destroyed, plus a massive team fight for BBC. They can't chase forward for Stallcat, but where was Bignum? I'm pretty sure he teleported in and got glimpsed back. So it was a numbers advantage for BBC. They only lose their disruptor. A massive team fight win for them.
I mean, it's once again Levi literally winning them a team fight with that Static Storm. Nice jump call by Massacre as well, but huge RP, and there's just no follow-up because they already have the glimpse back TA and 1 hero down from that call. So very nice play from Stallcat, a little bit too little too late, however, and it's not enough for Mantis to bring down BBC. They only get Levi, ironically so, who's definitely the big player for BBC in that one, and once again showing us why they pick up this disruptor so often for him from BBC.
And it's also not uncommon to see support heroes just not getting appropriate praise, but man, Levi delivering again with his ultimates and his glimpse, and as you said, almost single-handedly winning BBC the fight there. Of course, everyone else did their job pretty decently as well, especially that Axe, but when you get your Medusa skewered back, usually those fights don't go too well for you, but she does have maxed out mana shield, now holding on to 2 ultimate orbs, so it is going to be that Yasha Skadi with an awkward, casual ring of health in her stash now, but Medusa's getting to a stage where she will be the most tanky hero in the game, yet also the hero that xGame need to kill, and also the hero that is packing Stone Gaze. So she's getting to be a very dangerous hero, just a very dangerous package in general. And xGame, they're struggling unless they actually get an RP with follow-up, which so far just hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's arguable that they could have used the RP on the Medusa there, but she probably would have got the Stone Gaze off during the skewer duration, so I feel like Stallcat made the right choice to hang on to that. He seemed a bit worried. Yapzor was definitely well positioned to steal it, and he only did expend the RP when he was able to get the Rubik in it and get a Shockwave off after, but as we saw, a little bit too late there, and getting that Stone Gaze off, keeping Bridon up was a big deal for BBC.
Well, Roshan is alive right now. Sonic Trap not quite in range of that Roshan, but I'm pretty sure xGame know that it's up since, well, no one has killed it yet, so it should be up. And, well, between Templar Assassin, their Beastmaster, even though he only has 1 level of Aura, it's a little bit more attack speed there. Troll Warlord has Battle Trance and Lifesteal. xGame can take Roshan so freaking easy. It's just going to be a walk in the park for them. But BBC, they are always keeping near this Roshan pit, so even though it is going to be a very easy objective for xGame to take, I don't really know if they want to go into that Roshan pit. It might be a little bit too dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to pit fight for sure up against... I mean, either lineup have a decent pit fight with the call, with the Static Storm, Stone Gaze, but they do have the Battle Trance here, and they are going to look to jump in from the side of xGame. They'll leave Stallcat outside, smoked up, with the RP ready as well. And with that minus armor from Bignum, they're actually going to be able to take this and sneak it underneath the noses of BBC as the Scotty is completed by Bridon. So BBC still able to take a fight here, and Miracle is going to catch Searing Chains in the mid lane, will be able to remnant out just fine here. Stallcat was encroaching upon him with an RP at the ready, but we'll be able to zip out.
Scary thing about that Roshan was that it could have gone even faster. Like, if Reeves was there with the medallion and the attack speed, Roshan would have died that much quicker, and I don't really think they have anything else substantially for killing off Roshan except for, you know, more damage items, which will eventually come up for sure, but Roshan died incredibly swiftly, and Troll Warlord with that Helm of the Dominator was in zero trouble the entire time, so an easy objective claimed by xGame. The question is, now that they have Roshan and the Aegis, what do they actually do with it? Do they try to force a fight right now?
I mean, that's something you expect their lineup to do. They open with the Troll Dazzle, and already we were calling Roshan, and then they finished off with the TA Beastmaster. But Yeah, I mean, at this point, they really need every good engagement from them needs to spell a very nice RP from Stallcat. So that is literally the linchpin for the lineup, and that is the crutch off which they will either fall or be successful. So, yeah, I feel like they need to take advantage of this Aegis, especially with a fresh 10-second BKB up onto Bignum. He hasn't really been able to stand up in these fights and right-click. If they get an RP into a weave with that Aegis, they should be winning some of these fights. However, Stone Gaze still available through that BKB, so we'll see if Bignum is actually able to get off a few of these right clicks here. Bridon is solo in the bot lane and Mantis rotating down, but should be just fine here.
Bridon can't really do too much to Mantis and vice versa, but you would expect xGame to make some sort of play towards this mid lane tower. At the very least, it's a tier 1 mid. BBC are kind of unwilling to make a full commitment there, but they're going to smoke up instead, where Bridon and Mantis going to get into that fight. Bridon is going to be on the receiving end of bashes, and because of that, he's not going to win the long term, but he has help, and Mantis is very quickly going to realize that. Now all alone, he's going to lose his head and his Aegis. He will pop right back up into a potential static storm, but there is actually no way that he can get out of this. He's going to get killed off for the second time, and well, Mascari misses the dunk, but Battle Trance is actually stolen by the Rubik. That's a huge skill to steal, actually, especially if they can make a fight happen very shortly. They will lose the tier 1 tower while all this is going on, but they are fast enough to maybe close in and catch someone on the retreat. Axe has maybe an angle for Vlad. No, not quite. Miracle, though, with the base boots. Yasha movement speed. He's closing in very swiftly. Mascari is going to get the blink call onto Vlad. Bignum's here as well. Does he really want to fight this? Mascari once again holding on to his Calling Blade. He has an Agate Scepter, so he can throw it out freely. He will kill off one in the Dazzle. At the same time, it's going to be Miracle dealing with Reeves, who was forced to use the call purely defensively. Mascari will get shut down. Maybe, yes, he will go down to Bignum, but it will not be a great trade for xGame. The rest of the BBC heroes will be on the retreat. Ember Spirit very low on mana. Even with that double damage room, can't continue the fight there, but yeah, it's still a victory for BBC even after having lost their tier 1 tower mid.
Yeah, really ugly Stone Gaze there at the end of it as well from Bridon, and Bignum completely back turn and Stallcat able to skewer away from it. They'll kill off Massacre, but not the hugest loss for BBC overall. They should be okay to take that one. Bridon still surviving, does pretty much have the full Manta up at this point. Should be delivering that over sometime soon, and we'll have probably the Lincolns as well sometime soon.
And Yapzor has Yule Scepter, Blink Dagger. This Rubik is pretty darn loaded, and he's been making some pretty good steals. He still has Battle Trance. Having such a low cooldown, you could get several casts of this skill before you actually run out of, I guess, spell steal duration, if that makes any sense. But before you actually lose it naturally, you'll be able to get it out many times. And Medusa with Battle Trance is legit. Like, she's not doing the most damage right now. She's gone for a very survivability heavy build, but still 144 damage a pop with Split Shot. Active with Battle Trance can very quickly kill off all of xGame if they don't substantially lock her down. So they need to throw a Roar towards Medusa, but at the same time they kind of need to throw a Roar towards Miracle. And if they do that, then they're going to have to throw a Roar towards Axe, who's going to be interrupting everything. And xGame just don't have enough crowd control to deal with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Yapzor has really impressed me. He's level 14. He's been involved in 12 kills, which, if my math serves me right, is second most just to Miracle's Ember Spirit in the entire game. So his KDA, 0, 3, and 12, looking very good for the Rubik. Got his full Yule Scepter as well as that Blink, and he's been able to position himself well, and hopefully will continue to do so for the BBC side. But either way, there are some big items coming out now for xGame as well. 10-second BKB up on Mantis. In addition to that BKB we saw up on Bignum, he's building into that Desolator, which is a pretty darn good item. Bignum not opting for the Blink Dagger, which is a little bit strange considering the changes to Blink in that you need to actually take damage for it to be cooled down. So Refraction and Blink synergize very well. Smoke right under the face of Bridon. He's got the Stone Gaze available to him. Doesn't pop it, gets bashed up immediately. Primal Roar is onto him as well. BKB going to be popped. Static Storm is there. Mantis fighting through it with the BKB. He's going to bring down Bridon very easily underneath that medallion, and already that's 2 down for BBC. Zip out from the Ember Spirit. They're going to finish off Yapzor as well, and Miracle will jump in with a Sleight of Fist Searing Chains, but that's only going to sound the retreat in a big engagement going xGame's way. They still have this Aegis available. Actually, it's down. Yeah, it just expired 20 seconds ago, so there goes the tier 2 pretty much uncontested. Miracle needs to be careful here in the mid lane. Did have that Manta style to pop there and should be okay, but he's actually used the Sleight of Fist here to dodge the skewer, so well played from him. Stallcat a little bit early on that. They will forfeit the tier 2, however. 30 seconds down is Bridon still on the sideline for the buyback, but yeah, they won't look to go high ground. Very content with their spoils after that engagement.
Man, that was a rough fight for BBC. I don't really know where the Ember Spear and Axe were, especially that Axe in that entire fight. The Magnus and the Templar Assassin were causing havoc in the back end, and Miracle was perfectly chain stun, got hit with pretty much everything in the book, then got roared, then just bashes from Troll, and the Medusa couldn't even get the Manta style split into Stone Gaze off, because by the time she actually was available to do that, she was completely out of mana. So Pedrino getting absolutely no help from the rest of his team, and I honestly don't know what the rest of the team was actually doing. Probably just trying to flee from the BKB Templar Assassin, and I mean, that's fair, but BBC, they're just getting a little bit too caught out. The Medusa ran ahead, pretty far ahead from the rest of her team, and when you do that as any hero, you're going to be punished. So it's a nice fight being claimed by xGame. It's going to bring them a little bit closer to parity in the net worth department, but BBC, they're not going to be slowed down too much by this. They're going to smoke up, although it seems a little bit obvious right now. Mantis is going to get into a false sense of security because of this Hawk. He's going to get everyone spotted. Now BBC know exactly what kind of situation they're in. There's the weave onto Yapster, but they can't actually find anyone right now. They see Mantis now, but it's a little bit too late. It looks like that is going to be a dead smoke, as Mantis is still in a vulnerable position, but not vulnerable enough. xGame have an RP, they have a roar, they're ready to repeat their last fight.
Yeah, definitely so. Good diligence from them to stay in the tree line and keep that Hawk up. Pedrino going to take a few right clicks. Primal Roar goes out onto him as well. BKB pop, Battle Trance. Pedrino dropping really low. No mana available to the Medusa. Once again, going to get isolated and picked off. Levi chopped down to the Desolator. That's 2 down already with no buybacks. Miracle turn tail and run. The call from Massacre on the backlines is going to find one call on an Alpha Wolf, and he's going to go down. Double kill going Bignum's way with that fresh Desolator, and all of a sudden BBC heavily on the back foot. 45 seconds on the sideline is Pedrino. Massacre down for 50. No buybacks available from them. Levi as well. No buyback available for 20 seconds. And great series of events going xGame's way. Yeah, they did use the Aegis in the jungle before. Totally forgot about Mantis having that. Thought it was Bignum with it, but this should be a lane of racks forfeit for BBC.
And BBC just taking a terrible, terrible fight. Massacre's job as Axe, the only thing he has to do is make sure that the Medusa is able to fire. And when you have the Roar engaged on your Medusa, the job of Axe is to instantly respond to that Roar and the Troll Warlord Battle Trance with a blink-in call of his own. And he was not there. He was trying to go for the Templar Assassin. And yeah, she's going to be doing some pretty decent damage, but it's not really the most threatening. You have to protect your Medusa in all of these situations. They just don't do it. They lose their range racks and tier 3. After all said and done, not really the worst engagement, or not really the worst result for BBC, as they do hold on to their melee, and that's what counts. But they just have to make sure that the Axe is covering the Medusa, because she is getting locked down every single time. The rest of the heroes not able to get many skills off effectively because they don't really have a frontliner who's there. Axe is kind of dropping the ball in these fights, and I don't want to say that it's all Massacre's fault, but the gameplay of Axe is fairly streamlined. You protect your Medusa with those calls. You hit the Troll Warlord with it, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, maybe we can kind of chalk it up over to the choice for completing the Manta over the Lincolns here from Pedrino, but it looks like he sold that Ring of Health that he did have at one point in order to do so. So Primal Roar is really proving effective, and the bashes from the Mantis Troll Warlord have been there in order to bring down that entire mana pool of Pedrino under disable.
So BBC, they have lost a good deal of advantage that they once had. Now the net worth is slowly starting to bend towards xGame, closing in at 5,000 in both gold and experience there. So xGame, their synergy is really starting to come together with all their physical right clicks, their ability to just break through the BBC's lines. And if that's going to happen, then BBC are not going to be winning any fights. Roshan is back alive again in xGame. They're going to be making a straight beeline for it. With the Hawk leading the way, they will have perfect vision. Unless Levi gets the kill, and he will, but there's going to be another Hawk soon enough. xGame, they once again are going to be cautious about going for this Roshan, but I think they probably can just brute force their way into there if they really want to.
Yeah, they have so much to bring him down. With the Empower up now is for Bignum as well. He's hitting so hard, 400-ish damage at this point with the refraction charges up. And with the not even going to use the Battle Trance here, Sleight of Fist will go out. I don't know if that was able to hit onto Mantis, but the Remnant should get enough vision to at least see the Roshan is pretty low, and they're not even going to be able to contest this, only committing Mantis to the pit. Bignum pop. Stone Gaze is there, though. He's got his BKB up, but he's taking a lot of damage, and Bignum dropping very low. Static Storm is only there onto Stallcat, but it's enough to keep the RP down. Mantis going to fall as well. That's the Aegis. Call's going to be there from Massacre, a little bit odd. They should be able to pick off Vlad, though, with the Shockwave. One more Culling Blade, and the Scotty slowing down Mantis in the meantime. He's trying to run away. Remnant forward from Miracle, and he's not going to land the Searing Chains, but it's not going to matter. Glimpse back onto Mantis, and triple kill going Miracle's way on the Ember Spirit. Massive engagement all of a sudden for BBC, and really chaotic and sporadic there from xGame. Great Static Storm once again from Levi to keep down the Magnus, and they were able to pick everyone off one by one. Bignum a little bit too confident under the cover of his BKB.
Yeah, the difference there being Bridon actually was able to fire shots during that fight. Like, would you imagine when Medusa actually right-clicks, she actually does something? She was not focused at all. She walked out of there with pretty much a full mana pool with the mana shield up, so you know that she was receiving no focus. In xGame, they were forced into a position where in order to leave the Roshan pit, they had to go through the Medusa. That means you get turned to stone. That means you very quickly lose any effectiveness that the Troll Warlord was going to have. In the meantime, you know, the people who were turned to stone were getting chopped to pieces by Miracle and Bridon together. So xGame getting caught in a pincer, and really that's ideal for BBC as long as they keep Bridon alive, and they did through positioning this time, not necessarily that axe. They were able to take a massive team fight, and that's really the power of their lineup. That's how the fights previously were supposed to go for BBC, but it just didn't quite happen. And now that it has happened, the Roshan Aegis is off the table once more, and BBC are going to have that much more time to get some additional farm going.
Yeah, finally an influential Stone Gaze does go their way at the hands of Bridon. And as you mentioned, really just xGame being caught in a pincer. They really didn't commit much to the pit there, but either way, a very poor engagement going their way, and despite picking up that Aegis, just not quite enough. Scotty is going to be completed, however, by Mantis, perhaps before he died in that one, but either way, that's a decent item for him. Will give him some chase potential as well. Really, no other influential items coming out. Cat, so generally you would expect him to get a little bit more reliable on the RPs there, but that was available before the last engagement, and he still got Static Stormed up. Will build into a refresher. Necro 3s come out here for Reeve, so that's a pretty good item, but they really haven't been able to find any structural damage after that mid lane engagement and the range racks.
And we can see how much that range rack is actually mattering right now. The answer is pretty much not mattering at all. Yaphar's Fade Bolt is going to equalize most of that lane, and that's really all they have to do in order to push that out. And if they throw anything else, then it's going to be pushing towards the Radiant side of the base. So that is a nice pickup for xGame, but it's certainly not enough to lead into a decisive advantage as far as the lane equilibrium is concerned. And well, BBC, they're getting some pretty big items in the meantime. We got a Daedalus completed on the Ember Spirit. The Medusa, she is well on her way towards a Butterfly. It's going to need a little bit more gold until she completes that item, but between Evasion and Eye of Scotty and Manta Illusions, even if she is engaged upon by the Troll in a 1v1 scenario with no axe backup like we've previously seen, she will take a lot longer to die, and that just means that BBC, the rest of the heroes, have more time to, you know, get a Static Storm or a couple more Sleights of Fists off and then help Bridon.
Yeah, Bridon buys out his Eagle Horn here and does think wisely to back out of this off lane for the Radiant, because if he was picked off there, no buyback available for quite a while for Medusa. So we'll look to build into that Butterfly and perhaps farm up the buyback. They do have somewhat of an advantage from the side of BBC after finally taking some of that back, and definitely in the way of experience and net worth about at equilibrium at this point, but things still looking good for them. Bignum really hasn't been able to do too much in most of these fights with the Stone Gaze there to cover his BKB and no Blink Dagger to position himself. It's going to be hard pressed to get off most of his toolkit, and he does pick up that MKB, or will pick up the Demon Edge on the way to his MKB now, so should be a nice pickup versus the impending Butterfly for Bridon. They probably saw that Talisman of Evasion in the last fight, and generally is a good item on TA regardless.
You could expect that the Medusa is going to be getting a Butterfly because it's such a great item. Medusa, therefore you get MKBs on your heroes. One will go up on Bignum. I'm sure Mantis will eventually build towards one himself, and top lane is going to receive a little bit of pressure, and bottom lane kind of the exact same way. So mirrored pushing from either side. It seems like neither side is really too comfortable with how they take engagements, and given the track record of both of the team fights where xGame take a couple but then BBC strike back even after having lost team fights, it's clear that no team has a substantial advantage in said team fights, and that just means the game is going to drag on. And in a late game scenario, BBC, yeah, they have Medusa, they have Ember Spirit, but xGame, they're no slouches either. Troll, Templar Assassin, Mag, these are all heroes that can do a ton in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just banks on these team fight ultimates. If a good Stone Gaze is gotten by Padrino here, they'll pretty much win every engagement. They have the call as well on top of the BKBs. No Aghanims coming anytime soon for Levi, so he won't be able to get off any influential static storms on these BKB targets. But Halberd is now out for Axe. That'll be, I mean, I guess nice up against the Troll, but BKBs are there for both him and the TA. So not the biggest item, will allow the Axe to be a little bit more survivable with that effective HP from the evasion, however.
Once the BKBs do go down on the xGame side, then Templar Assassin is 100% useless without her ability to right-click. Troll Warlord, maybe ranged axes will do something, but the odds of that turning the fight is very, very slim. So Halberd is the item that BBC want to have up against xGame's lineup in general. Of course, up against BKBs, it'll be difficult to make that happen, but if it does happen, then they can instantly win fights, if not, you know, a lane of Rax is claimed because of the usage of that item. So I think the benefits significantly outweigh the risks, and seems like BBC, they're going to make a slight push up towards top. Not really too much committed, yet they do claim a tier 2 tower there, and it was so easily done that maybe they're going to feel like they could go for a secondary tier 2 over in mid. But either way, they're just getting more map control, getting more time for Bridon to get buyback gold and then that extra item. It seems like xGame, they need to get a couple more items up. That Demon Edge is going to be soon completed into the MKB for Templar Assassin. But for Troll Warlord, you have 4,200 gold in the bank. What do you actually buy?
I guess you gotta go MKB. I mean, really, it's probably the only choice he can make at this point. They need to go a little bit balls deep. Full refresher picked up, however, by Stalkat. This may have been scouted out by the high ground ward that scouts him walking towards that secret shop. But either way, should be a big item for xGame here. And something I think we touched upon is these RPs, these static storms, these stone gazes, I feel like that's what's going to spell the engagement. It's probably a little bit obvious to say is that the big team fight team fight ultimates will sound who wins these team fights. But either way, Yapsor hasn't really been too impressive as of late on this Rubik, so look for him to make a play, I think, in these next engagements.
Yeah, when you place more priority on these teamfight ultimates, then heroes like Rubik actually increase in value. And if he could somehow get... Oh, Bignum standing still is going to get caught by Massacre. You never stand still in this game. He's going to get disarmed, forcing the BKB out. Static Storm is there, but RP number 1 going to catch 3. 0 follow-up from Stalkat, though. Has another RP, but doesn't have the mana, it seems. Also got RP stolen. There's a secondary RP, but he's going to take a fall from the dunk. Here comes Mantis, going to get caught in the call. Levi's going to take the roar instead of Padrino. Mantis will go to town, will kill off 1, but Reeves taking a fall. Padrino just going to town onto everyone, whereas Mantis, completely ignoring everyone, trying to go for that Medusa, will get killed in a hurry. Now Vlad is going to be caught in the air. He's going to die as well. Oh my god, that might have just won BBC the entire game. You never, ever, ever stand still in a game of Dota. It gets you killed, guys.
No buyback for Bignum either, and 45 seconds on the sideline simultaneously for both the Beastmaster and the Magnus. At least one lane of Rax is going BBC's way here. The tier 2 down in both other lanes, so they should be able to take at least a side lane here and make it 2 without any reasonable contest coming out here from the side of xGame. They even have the defensive remnant down for Miracle. He can just stand on the high ground, and Padrino just fine. 30 seconds till that Stone Gaze is up once again. They won't even have Bignum available before that comes off of cooldown, and this looks like, as you mentioned, GG territory. xGame gonna play it out till the end, but looks like we will see BBC in the grand finals.
And even with double RPs, those RPs pretty much don't get any better than that. You landed onto like a total of 6 heroes. Yeah, you get it stolen by Yapsor, but you know, shit happens. It's probably going to happen when you're just looking to get that double RP off. No follow-up though. Like the fact that they lost Bignum first thing is just going to be so crippling. Padrino's going to get glimpsed or skewered back into the clutches of Mantis. Call there this time for Massacre, going to bail Padrino out. Now he can start firing. Magnus is going to take a fall. Mantis still alive because of lifesteal. Padrino though going to make his way out. Miracle's in the front lines. He's going to try to kill off everyone by himself. The Searing Chains is there. Man fighting Mantis, probably not the best idea. He will have a remnant to jump to, but he can't get it out because he's bashed, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is killing off the Raxes in the meantime. That's going to be Megas. Reeves going to try to make something happen with the Necro units. Pop Padrino is going to get saved from the Necro units with that wall, and are in charge doing some damage, but he will get back to base. He'll be safe and sound, and xGame are now going to be facing down Megas. They have pretty much the perfect team to hold off Megas, and that Templar Assassin does very well, Troll Warlord does very well, and with Magnus on their side, those heroes do even better. But BBC now have a decisive lead in this game, close to just instantly winning it out.
Yeah, and you touched upon it before. As these BKBs start to dwindle down, that Halberd becomes more and more effective. And with the 7-second BKB charge on Mantis, that Halberd barely saving Padrino's life from the range form Troll Warlord. xGame looks like they're going to go headlong up mid and look for a GG push as their Magnus will be able to join the fray pretty soon. But just going to have to push their lanes out for now. And still a lot available to BBC here. Stonegate is such a low cooldown at level 3, and really throughout the game, they are going to be able to utilize that for this next engagement. Roshan going to melt, however. Mantis going to pick that one up. He's got his MKB available, so what we mentioned. Cheese goes to Bignum, doesn't have quite enough to complete up an MKB of his own, but Mantis has really been the only one dropping Padrino in most of these engagements, starting in those 2 mid lane ones, and it's going to be a lot on his back to bring xGame out of the trenches in this one.
And BBC, they just have to sit back and chill. It's pretty much what they have been doing until they got that freebie pickoff on the TA.
Yeah.
The Aegis and Cheese going to help out xGame in their push, and yeah, they might get a couple of tier 4 towers down, but BBC, their buyback status, taking a quick look at it, they have it on the Medusa, the Axe, and the Ember Spirit, and really that's all they need. Those are 3 heroes that are the most important for them, not to mention they're racing right now, xGame, with their base being in complete shambles. They're going pretty quickly, xGame, and that's the power of the Empower, but they have one chance to make this happen. And that chance is going to be rushed. Mantis already dropping down very, very low. He
still have RP
he can get that call in. Stone Gaze, though, is there, and Mantis now is going to get locked down almost completely. He's going to try to man-fight Padrino from range, but he needs those bashes if he's going to win that. Static Storm is there. Padrino's still taking a lot of damage, but he has a buyback. He doesn't really care. RP stolen by YapzOr still was there, and he's going to connect onto 3. That's going to be the Aegis down. Here comes Reeves. He's a little bit late to the party, though. He's going to get obliterated. Now secondary RP from Stallcat. Has a refresh orb. He's going to get dunked, though. Mantis fighting to the death, and his death is soon incoming. That's going to be a full team wipe for BBC. GG. The Ancient is going to explode on the Radiant, and that's going to be GG.
Well played by BBC. I was watching YapzOr in that whole last engagement, waiting for it, and very good patience from him. I've got a 3-man RP, big one. And once again, Stallcat finding some good RPs, as you mentioned, throughout the game, but just not enough follow-up. BBC, guys, moving on to the Grand Finals.
And be with that 2-0 victory, as I said, Grand Finals are going to be incoming, guys. It's going to be happening in about 40 minutes at 18 CET. So the stream will be up until then. Hope you guys enjoyed this set. BBC going up against xGame. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that follow button. Be sure to follow HeflaTV on Twitter and Facebook as well. The VODs will be up after the Grand Finals. I'm Mike Loris. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Loris. He's MRP. You can find him on Twitter at MRP_Dota. And any final words before we take a break before the Grand Finals, man?
It's going to be interesting to see if BBC can beat up BU, and the only reason I say that is because they've been winning a lot of these games with comfortable heroes, and BU is a team that does their homework, so they're really prepared for this. So it'll be interesting to see if BBC have some pocket strats available to them.
All right, guys, we'll see you in 40 minutes for the Grand Finals, 18 CET. Until then, well, we're out. GG.
GG.